Hello and welcome again to the series of podcasts about Masaaki Imai's legacy. Today I have a special guest with me, Maureen Balsters, Kaizen Institute Senior Executive. Welcome, Maureen.
Thank you, Aleix. Happy to be here.
So Maureen, I like to start the podcast normally talking a little bit about Masaaki and his methodologies and messages. So if you would have actually to highlight the top Kaizen message that Masaaki left us, what would you tell me?
He left so many things, didn't he?
Right.
And really what immediately comes to mind, and what I want to pull out today is the everyone, every day, everywhere. Because it resonates really well with customers. It resonates with us, obviously, but many of our customers struggle to envision what a Kaizen culture looks like. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about this, what it means, right? Everyone, so leaders and Gemba are accountable for the customer. And every day, the discipline that comes from that accountability everywhere, because you're one company, one culture, it becomes more tangible for them. Mm-hmm. But also, it becomes clear how big the ambition is and what it is that they're committing to.
Mm-hmm. And maybe relating to this question, what do you think is the main challenge that companies are facing regarding this everywhere, every day, everywhere, and by everyone?
It's exactly that. It's a question that's actually that's often asked. Also, everybody is worried about sustainability, mm-hmm. right? Not sustainability in the sense of sustainability of the earth and the nature, but sustainability of the change of the culture. They're always asking about that. And our answer is always, if you do it every day, everybody, in the right way, everywhere, it is sustainable because it is your DNA. And then they shy away from that, right? So that's the people, the discipline, the leadership that's involved in actually establishing that is, in my view, the greatest challenge.
So actually that creates kind of a sense of what Masaaki Imai was also telling us, that Kaizen should be seen as a strategy, right?
Yes, indeed. Although I think there it has two levels, right? In terms of a strategy, mm-hmm. Being the best way to achieve something, mm-hmm. to achieve your goals, definitely. But I think also in the sense of being a strategic choice, because of the effort right. that's going to be involved. Even though you know how big the gains are going to be, it's going to be some heavy lifting.
So actually maybe related to that as well, because Masaaki Imai's methodology was taking into account Kaizen strategy is one of them as a methodology, also taking it as an operational excellence model that allows to drive change through the organization in different ways. But if we would like to focus on growth, profitability of the business, how Masaaki Imai's methodology relates to this, in your opinion?
So I think what is the most important is what he has always said is make all your choices, make the primary driver of your choices in your direction the customer, mm-hmm. right? And then teach the people how to do the work in the right way. So the right things the right way. And that thinking, that mindset applies to any part of the company. So if you do that, you do that consciously, you will make the right strategic choices about where you want to go with your company. If you leverage that Kaizen approach and that Kaizen thinking to innovation, mm-hmm. you will have the right innovations out there faster than your competition. If you leverage that thinking to your sales force, they will be effective, mm-hmm. and they will create demand. So apart from it being the way to make you always safe, reliable and efficient, it is also the way to drive growth and profitability. Absolutely.
Maybe as a follow-up question, because I find it very interesting as well, because you're mentioning areas that normally are not the first thing we think yes. when we are saying Kaizen. Yes. No, it was born in manufacturing, automotive industry, and in the production assembly lines, let's say. What do you think is actually the main challenge to bring the methodology to those areas, right? To sales, to marketing, and so on?
Research and development.
Exactly.
Yes, and I've worked with many companies doing that. And I think the challenge for the people really is that it goes from the more tangible and observable principles, things like waste that you can actually see. You can see the inventories, right? You can see the defect products, into an area where increasingly it's waste of knowledge, waste of information, waste that is hidden behind IT systems or in people's minds. So you go from the tangible to the intangible. And they need our support in understanding how you drive exactly the same principles, put the customer first, create customer value, let it flow, etc. in this more knowledge-intense environment. And the second bump is that, say, in those areas of the organization, sales, marketing, R&D, the work is more project-driven, more event-driven. So they also struggle to see where is the repetitiveness, because the repetitiveness is not in the content, but the repetitiveness is in the process.
Actually, it's true that I remember a message from one of our colleagues saying that in these areas like offices, like R&D or sales, that the muda is hidden, right? That it's not seen.
That's right.
So sometimes it's more difficult to drive or to let the customer see where the waste is going, right?
That's right. But the one that they very often, very quickly recognize is the muda of lost knowledge.
Agree completely. So maybe we're talking about this kind of processes, information and so on. So let me quite relate onto that, because now we're going to a world of AI, digitalization, automatization and so on. So how do you think actually that Masaaki Imai's methodology and Kaizen will shape the future of the businesses coming to this type of trends?
So that's a big question, right? And I mean, Masaaki, Mr. Imai is renowned as the father of Kaizen, and he's established a community of Kaizeners in us and in the generations that will come after us. And we will always respect his legacy and keep applying his methods. But we will need to adapt to the changes in the world. And, you know, I think, so let me make a little side step.
Sure.
I actually started my career in IT.
Okay.
Very early, very long ago. And I was a project manager for an IT project, and I went to the courses and I did everything and I applied it, and I had the best functional design for the new IT system, right? And nobody in the user community responded, not negatively, not positively. So I went down to what I later learned was Gemba to see why. And that was because the IT, the newest technology in that time, had no connect with their work. And this is where, you know, I had my big paradigm shift, a pivotal moment in my life. The people doing the work are ultimately what creates revenue, success of your business, future of your business. And I don't see that will change. I think that the way it looks like will change, and I think the way that it is supported by technology will change. I think the speed of it will change, but the bare core, that it is people and work that need to really go together to bring success, I believe will remain the same.
Thank you, Maureen. I would have one last question just to finish, more related to Masaaki and the contact that you had with him, or the methodology that he created. I would like to, actually you mentioned now that you started in IT many years ago, and that was the moment when you met Masaaki Imai. Can you tell me the difference between this moment before and after? What changed in your life?
Okay, so I met Masaaki Imai much later in 2012. I met him actually at the occasion of the launch of Kaizen Institute Netherlands. He was to speak there. And it was our first time actually meeting Mr. Imai. So he was getting ready. We had a room, and there were like 200 people or so, and he was getting ready to step up to the podium. So there were some steps at the side, and there was a big step here, and he was getting ready to take big step. So you could hear the room going, holding their breath, right? Because if you look at Mr. Imai, he seemed quite frail. But he surprised us all by jumping up very spry and holding his speech. And so beneath that frailty is an indomitable energy and a very strong mind as well. And you know, I later learned he doesn't suffer fools easily. He can be demanding, but he commands respect through his experience, through his knowledge, and also his sense of humor. So this was in 2012. So what I described earlier was decades before that. So I had, from the moment of understanding that you need to focus on people and the work, that had become my way of doing my career. But what I really learned from Mr. Imai, what he gave me, is working with people, change through people is important, but doing it in the work is the way that is going to make the change. So really, you know, we often say we teach change by doing change. That summarizes it for me. And instead of a change agent, I'm now a do improvement agent. And for me, that's the biggest difference.
That's great, because I think most of us is like this. Now we change the perspective of our life and how we approach things, just by how he teaches us the methodology and this message that he gave us, right?
Exactly, yes.
Maureen, thank you very much for being here with me today, for sharing the experience, your knowledge.
It was a pleasure.
So yeah, once again, thank you.
Thank you.
For your audience, we will be having more recordings, so I invite you to follow us and to stay tuned with our podcast. I'll see you soon. Thank you.